Welcome to the Thought Emporium. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make highly conductive copper sulfide crystals using hydrothermal synthesis. As you can see, it's very conductive with about 15 ohms per square. To get started, we're going to need a couple of things. First, we'll need any soluble copper salt. In this case, I'm going to be using copper sulfate, and I'll be weighing out 1.5 grams of that. And then I'll need a source of sulfur. A couple different ones work. Here I have thiourea, sodium thiosulfate, and regular sulfur. In this case, I'll be using sodium thiosulfate, and again, I'll weigh out 1.5 grams of that. In some of my previous videos, you may have seen me use a pipe fitting reactor like this one. In this video, I'm not going to be doing that, and if you haven't seen those videos, links on the screen. So yeah, I'm not going to be using that kind of reactor. I'm going to be using one of these nice Teflon vessels. So I've got my powders loaded in here, and then I'm going to dissolve everything in a little bit of deionized water. Now, the reason I'm using this type of vessel rather than the pipe fittings is this one's totally inert, and I'm trying to make something a little better quality. So this is how the reactor assembles, and you can get one of these on eBay if you're interested in doing this kind of stuff. They're fairly cheap, about 30 bucks. Yeah, so this is how it assembles. Very cool, and I've had it for a while, and I've beat the hell out of it, and it still works. It can take all the pressure and all the heat. To get the reaction going, the vessel is closed, loaded into an oven at 180 degrees, and left for 8 hours. After 8 hours, this was the result. I used a little bit of deionized water to get the powder off of the vessel, and I let it settle so this was easier to see. You'll notice that the solution has gone completely clear, which means all of the starting chemicals have been used up and turned into copper sulfide. This is very likely copper monosulfide from the color. So I took a look at it under the microscope, and you can see these, I don't know if they're crystals, I don't know if they're tubes. The only way I could find out is if I were to take them to the TEM, and I may be doing that shortly. So if I do, I'll post the results. But otherwise, you can see they're really crazy looking, but the most important part about this is it shows that they have a massive amount of surface area, which for something like a supercapacitor is a must. To test the conductivity and make a basic supercapacitor electrode, all I did was vacuum filter it through a filter. However, a coffee filter doesn't actually work very well for this, and I found that a regular paper towel works significantly better. So once it was poured and allowed to dry, it forms a nice, highly conductive film. However, since this lacks any kind of binder, any flexing of the dried film will actually deteriorate it significantly, but it can be regenerated by a couple drops of water and allowing it to dry again. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. And this isn't actually my first video on hydrothermal synthesis. I've done a couple more. Links can be found in the description. I've shown how to make highly fluorescent quantum dots, as well as highly magnetic nanoparticles. And I'm going to be doing lots more, and some of you may be wondering, if you can make copper sulfide, could you make, say, zinc sulfide or iron sulfide? The answer is yes, and I'll be showing that in future videos. If you're interested in behind the scenes and extra content, all of my social media stuff can be found in the description down below. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or you can find some of my research on my website.